Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of The Best. I'm your host, Andre Smith, and today I will be covering the October 15th edition of AEW Rampage, emanating from the James L. Knight Center in Miami, Florida. This night was particularly interesting because before the main show on YouTube, AEW had a buy-in pre-show that was in response to WWE trying to do their own little extended programming and everything. So Tony Khan decided to throw in a pre-show, and boy, what a pre-show it was. But before I get to the main event of this, the opening match was a women's match between Ty Conti and Santana Garrett, and they were starting over some good mat action going on, and Conti at one point hit a pump kick for a near fall. Garrett came back with a forearm followed by a springboard elbow into the corner on Ty Conti for another near fall, and as the match went on, Conti started lighting up Garrett with some pump kicks, a series of pump kicks, about 3 of them. Then she hit her D-tie move, which is a DDT, onto Garrett for the win. After that match, Excalibur and Tony Schiavone talk about the rivalry Sorry, I can't even talk today. Let's try that again. The rivalry between the Inner Circle and American Top Team. And yeah, American Top Team got some nasty cats on there. So the Inner Circle needs to watch out. They need to get on the ball, trying to fend them off. And after that sit-down talk, we have another match between Lee Moriarty versus Bobby Fish. And again, there was some nice mat action going on between the two. Lee Moriarty, he held his own throughout this match, and he focused on Bobby Fish's left arm throughout this encounter. Fish came back with a dragon screw leg whip, and followed by a senton from a near fall. Lee mounts a comeback with some nice kicks, followed by a double stomp for a 2 count. And the fans throughout this match seem to be split. They, half were supporting the infamous Bobby Fish, the other half were supporting Lee Moriarty. Excuse me. Fish hits a roundhouse, followed by a Saito suplex for a 2 count. Lee comes back for a side throw suplex for another near fall. Then Fish hit a leaping knee strike for a very close near fall. And then Fish comes back, hits an exploder suplex into the ropes that looked nasty. Looked like Lee landed on his head, and he followed by a roundhouse kick to the head for the victory. And that match, there's another sit-down clip in which Schiavone and Excalibur talk about Bryan Danielson coming to AEW, how excited they were about him bringing his knowledge and his intensity to AEW. And then they talk about, which was the main event, talk about him facing Minoru Suzuki. I heard about this match and I got excited because I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a war. Main event, Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon. And you could, as soon as they were in the ring, you could cut the tension with a knife. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. And the fans said so as much. And as the two started grappling, the fans started chanting, "This is wrestling," and I couldn't agree more. I'm going to tell you something. Oh boy. They were putting on a clinic from beginning to end of this match, and let's get into some of the action that was going on here. Danielson went for a leg screw. Suzuki blocked it. They start striking each other. Danielson hit a forearm uppercut. Suzuki hit a chop. And Danielson came back with a kick to the chest. Then Suzuki hits another chop. And Danielson kicks again. Then Suzuki threw one of those nasty, famous forearms. And Danielson just dropped him. And well, what was crazy about that, they just kept on absorbing punishment and punishment on top of punishment. This match reminds me of those New Japan matches that they hold, and where they just be going toe to toe and just that implementing some of that strong style that goes on. This was fun to watch. Suzuki ran Danielson into the post at one point, and he had one of Danielson's arms hammer locked, and then he took the other arm and he just contorted those joints in such a way it made me cringe. It was like, these are some tough cats. Danielson came back and he hit a running knee from the ring apron onto the Suzuki, who was on the floor. Danielson tried to apply cattle mutilation, but Suzuki rolled out of it. And Danielson had a label lock, but they were too close. Both him and Suzuki were too close to the ropes. And there was a point in the match in which they were both going toe to toe. And then it got so rough that they both hit each other with some palm strike or something. Then they got back up, started doing it again. At one point, Suzuki hit Danielson with one of those forearms again, dropping him again. But Danielson must have got pissed off, and he came right back and just started throwing hands with him again. And I was loving this, loving it. Suzuki went for a Gotch power drive, but Danielson blocked that. And then he came back. They ran the ropes. He hit his running knee to pin Suzuki. Hell of a match, straight up war. Loved it. One of the best matches I've seen so far this year. Now we go on to the main show. First match of the night, CM Punk versus Matt Sydal. They both show respect to each other before they start wrestling. It was pretty much some good, clean wrestling going on so far in this match. If I heard it correctly, this is their first match together since 2002. And it was evident that Punk was the fan favorite going into this match. Sydal started working on Punk's leg. Punk tries to come back, but Sydal hits Punk with a kick to the head, followed by a sliding knee strike. Punk comes back with a body slam onto the ring apron. As Sydal and Punk were on the top rope, they were striking each other before they both spilled onto the floor. Both men make it back to the ring before the count of 10. Sydal goes for his lightning spiral move, but Punk counters it with a neck breaker. Sydal hits a hurricanrana for another 2 count. Sydal went for a straight jacket submission, but Punk counters with an anaconda vice. Sydal hits the lightning spiral finisher, but Punk actually kicked out, which, from what I understand, very rarely happens. Then Sydal goes for a crucifix, but Punk counters with the GTS for the pin. So Punk remains undefeated as of the time of this recording. Now we have some women's action as Ruby Soho goes up against the Bunny. They start shoving each other before going at it. At one point, the Bunny gets the advantage with a knee to the face. The Bunny yanks Soho off the top rope, causing the back of Soho's head to hit the turnbuckle. Soho hits a flatliner to the Bunny onto the floor, and she also hits some running kicks to the Bunny's head, then hits a backdrop suplex, followed by a running shot to the back on the head for a 2 count. Bunny hits a German suplex on the second rope for a very near fall. Soho wins with a backslide, and then gets jumped by Penelope Ford as she gets ready to go to the back. For the Bunny double teams Soho before Ford pulls out some brass knuckles and knocks out Soho with it. And now we have the main event of the program, of the main show, as the Inner Circle featuring Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Jake Hager versus Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and the debuting former UFC heavyweight champion Junior Dos Santos. Sammy and Sky started off. Sky has the advantage while Guevara uses his agility to come back. Dos Santos and Jericho go at it, and Santos put some cracks on the champion, just brutalizing them. Then Hager and Santos go at it, and look like briefly they were briefly in the octagon the way they were going at it. So a good head to head there, and the action was pretty fast and furious. Jericho gets distracted and pays for it, courtesy of Ethan Page. Santos delivers a power slam and apparently was proud of himself after he did that. Can't be gloating too much in there with these cats because they'll take advantage. After that, Sammy Guevara, the TNT champion, tags in, starts cleaning the house, just going nuts up in there. Hager delivers a rock bottom to Santos onto a table, and due to outside interference, Jericho gets pinned by Scorpio Sky, then gets beat up by the rest of the American top team before the proud and powerful Santana Ortiz makes the save to close out the program. I'd say between the buy-in and the televised show, this was a pretty good episode of Rampage, I thought. Yeah, what I was saying about I hope I get to see Danielson and Suzuki go at it again, because that was awesome, but I don't know when that's going to happen. And yeah, the American top team, they look like they're a force to be reckoned with. And in the circle, better devise something to counter those guys. And that's about it for this episode of the Wrestling Artistry Podcast. And be sure to tune in next week as I do another recap. And that will be it. And I'll see y'all next time. And until then, so long for now.